Question paper of September 2021, and we are going to start on the instructions and information, whereby the first instruction reads, this question paper consists of three sections, namely section A, section B, and section C. So the next part, that is our information 2, it reads that the questions in section A and section B are compulsory. So very important, take note that you have to answer all the questions that we have in section A and B. And then for information number 3, answer any 2 questions in the section C. So in section C, we have to choose only 2 questions. So this is what we have in terms of our instructions and information. So let's go to the first part of the questions, whereby you're going to start on the multiple choice section. First question is a function of the national benchmark test, and that is the NBT, could be 2. So according to the various responses given, the correct response that we have is C, is to assess whether potential students qualify for regular entry or extended programs in a specific course. So we have C. So going to the second part, embezzlement is an illegal act of, according to responses given, the correct response is D, whereby it is secretly taking money that belongs to the company you work for. So this is D is the most appropriate response that we have. Then number 3, examples of health-related components of fitness. We have got different responses that we have there. So correct answer is B, which is muscular endurance, cardiovascular fitness, and flexibility. So we have B as the correct response. So go to number 4. An evaluation of an impact study is done to. The correct response that we have is D. We'd say that we have D, which determine the changes as a result of a particular intervention. So we have a D. And then we go to number 5, the Employment Equity Act, which is the EEA, 1998, Act 55 of 1998, intends to regulate. So we check again. We've got A to D to choose from, but the correct that we have is A, psychological testing and assessment of potential employees. So we have A. So moving on to the next part, which is 1.2. Another 1.2 reads, give one word or term for each of the following descriptions. Write only the word or term next to the question numbers, and that is 1.2.1 to 1.2.3 in the answer book. So according to 1.2.1, it is a condition that can be avoided by drinking water regularly and during physical education activities is dehydration. So dehydration is the correct term that we can pick according to the sentence that we are given. So we have dehydration. And going to the second part, it is the term describing a person who shows exceptional ability, knowledge, and common sense about using modern technology is cyber savvy, or we can call it a tech savvy. So we have the correct spelling of that in our answer section is presented as follows, as we are having a cyber or tech savvy is indicated on 1.2.2. So we go to the next part where it reads, the ability to maintain a controlled body position during intense movement is balance. So we have balance as the correct response. So basically this is what we have on that part. So moving on to the next part whereby we have 1.3. Which reads, answer the following questions by writing the answer next to the question numbers. So the first one is saying, give 2 examples of possible gender inequality practices in the workplace. So gender inequality practices, we can talk about an equal pay for equal work being done. So we have got equal work that is being done, but then in terms of remuneration, we are paying the workers differently. So it becomes inequality or trying to label or stereotyping based on gender. So any stereotyping that can transpire based on gender can also be a possible answer that we have. So we have them listed in our section when we were saying The first part that we have an equal pay for equal work being done, and then objectifying women and young girls. Certain genders are mostly doing the unpaid work labor. So that's some of the possible responses. We've got various responses that are correct and that we can also include as we go down. But of course, the question requires only one. So we go on to check in terms of what the question requires. So the question says, give two examples. So you have to choose two from the list that we have. So you can choose any two that are possibly correct. So these are all correct. And of course, you can choose two that you can include. So we go to the next part of our question, which reads, explain why smoking of cigarettes may have a negative effect on your physical appearance. So these are some of the possible responses that you can put. Smoking may result in a lack of oxygen in the blood vessels, which could cause discoloration of the skin and even skin tone or spots on the skin, bad breath, yellow eyes, stains of nails, damages too, or of damages of gums and teeth. So basically, these are some of the responses that we can give as we go down, possible responses that we have. Then moving on to the next question, it says, why do you think municipalities should amend bylaws on a regular basis? So bylaws should be amended because the living environment of a community changes from time to time. Outdated bylaws may compromise the health and safety of community. And also, we have other uh, responses that we can also include that are also correct. So, of course, that question requires you to come up with any 2 points that you think are correct, and each one with 1 mark. Then we move on to the next part of our question, which is 1.3.4, which says, discuss the importance of setting achievable health and fitness goals. So it is important so that it may make it easier for you to keep yourself on pace, which may encourage you to stay accountable to yourself, also help you to be specific about your goals, and this may give you a clear idea of the type of actions you need to take to reach your goals. So basically, we have those and other points that are also correct that we can also include. Then I will move on to the next part of our question, which reads, explain why entrepreneurs should be risk takers. And of course, running your own business is risk taking, as you can make a profit and you can also make a loss. So by the mere fact that you're going to make a loss, there's a possibility of you making a loss, it becomes a risk. So you are a risk taker. And this is motivated in the following points. As we say, it may push them to reach their business goals, which may help to ensure the success of their businesses. And then open up new opportunities, which may rescue the business from possible closure or lead to business growth. So these are some of the points that you can also include as we go down. Then move on to 1.4.2, which says, recommend one way in which a potential entrepreneur could determine if a business opportunity will be financially viable. Motivate your answer. So a potential entrepreneur could check whether there is demand or need for the products or service he or she wants to sell or render to determine if the product is marketable or if there is a sustainable client base for such a service. So that can be also a point that we can include. Of course, the question requires 1 point is saying one way. So we have other points that we can also include that are correct as we go down. And this is the end of our first question, and this is the end of our section A, which has a total of 20 marks. So from there, we move on to the next question, which is our question 2. Moving on to our section B, which is obviously compulsory. We are going to start on question 2, which reads, read this extract below and answer the question that follows. So you're given an extract of the importance of communication. So you just need to go through the extract that you have. And then I believe that we've got the question part whereby first question reads, give a definition for the term personality. But we know that personality generally is a set of emotional qualities. And also we can talk about behavior, the behavior and the attitude that makes one person different from other people. So that is personality. So we have brief descriptions of personality according to our answer section, whereby we are saying personality is a combination of characteristics or qualities that form an individual's distinctive character. And we have further explanations that are also there that are also correct about personality. So any of the points can be correct and can give you 2 marks. So for the second part of our question, it is said 2 factors that may have contributed to a young person developing positive personality traits during childhood. So what points can we raise according to our 2.2? And of course, when it is a positive personality, it means it's going to be a good personality. So what can we bring in terms of our points? We can talk about disciplinary measures that may have guided a child in how to respond to a situation appropriately. And also, we can talk about how the child was groomed. That is how the parents raised the child can also be of importance. So we have those points again articulated in the answer section. So we go down and see and these are the factors that we have. The first one is consistent disciplinary measures by parents or siblings or teachers or caregivers. And also disciplinary measures that may have guided a child in how to respond to a situation appropriately. And parents who dealt with the situation or crisis unitedly. So basically, we have other points also that can include that are also correct in terms of that. Then we move on to this the next part, which is 2.3. And see that 2.3 reads explain how a negative attitude towards life could affect your communication with others. So how can a negative attitude towards life could affect your communication with others? So we can include points like it always obviously you always dismiss or disregard what others say, which becomes a negative in terms of how you cooperate or associate with others. So we have that. So as I explained in our answer section in our 2.3, as we are saying, the first point that it may cause you to be judgmental of others. It may make you to always find fault in others when communicating with them, and also be abrupt in your communication with people, which may limit all forms of communication or interaction or cause miscommunication with others. So that's the second point that we have. So these are the points that we have, and we have got other points that we can also include that are also correct. Then 2.4 is discuss why avoiding conflict is not healthy for any relationship. Why avoiding conflict is not healthy. So we have a first point saying it may prevent people from resolving the conflict, which could only worsen the situation. So that's another point. Then we talk about also it may result in you becoming withdrawn or introverted, which may lead to irreconcilable differences in relationships. So we will also further points that you can also include that are also correct. So moving on to the next question that we have, which is 2.5, which reads, why do you think compromising may not always be considered as the most ideal method to solve disagreements? The possible answers could include, since compromising requires both sides to give up something in order to reach an agreement, it may result in neither part being truly satisfied. So that's one of the points that you can also include. We have further points also that we can include that are also correct in terms of that question. On 2.5. So moving on to 2.6. So 2.6 is how would you improve your way of coping with changes in any relationship? In each answer also indicate how improving these coping skills could help you to accept the changes in your relationships. So you could assess how much control you have over a situation in a relationship by determining what you can take and determining what you can take responsibility for, and in this way you may be able to accept the things that you are unable to change in the relationship. So that can also be a correct point that you can also include, and also accept that experiencing changes in life is inevitable. So we have also that as correct response. We've got other points that are also there that we can also include that are also correct. We have got an extension of those points as we go down that are also correct there. Then, of course, this becomes the last question that we have in terms of our question 2. And of course, we are going to move on to the next question that we have, which is question 3. On our question 3, it reads, read the extract below and answer the question that follows. So we're given this extract of surviving examinations. So you need to go through the extract that you're given. Then beneath that, we have got the question parts whereby the first question reads, give a definition of the term study skills. So the definition that we have reads, study skills refer to the ability to concentrate or perceive information correctly or accurately to remember what has been studied. Or it refers to an acquired ability to apply the strategies or methods or techniques learned to achieve one's study goals or study effectively. So these are the explanations of study skills. So in terms of the second question that we have, there's a differentiate between the following action words is used in an examination question paper. So illustrate and identify. So how do we look at illustrating and identifying? So we have that also illustrated in our other section, whereby we are saying when illustrating, you would give an example by clearly showing what you mean, whereas identifying means to find or name or mention something. And also illustrating means to explain something in ways that clearly demonstrate what needs to be understood, while identifying involves the ability to choose something from a range of factors. So these are some of the possible answers that you can have. Then on the next part of our question, reads, explain one benefit of planning your responses when writing an examination. So this is our 3.3, which is explain one benefit of planning your responses when sitting for an examination. Steps of that, we have it may enable you to focus on what is actually required for the question so that you may be able to formulate or develop your responses according to the core instruction of a question or effect changes to your answers before combining the final answer, thereby ensuring that your responses are clear or relevant to the question. So we have got further points that we have that are also correct. Then, in terms of the next question, it is discuss two ways in which you could deal effectively with anxiety during an examination. So this is how we can deal. You could take a few moments to do some breathing exercises, which may help you to calm your nerves or get rid of any feelings of worry. And also assure yourself that you have studied adequately for that particular examination paper, which may change your negative thought patterns or help you to dismiss any fear of failure. So this is what we have in terms of our 3.4. Then in terms of the next part, we have got further information on further points that we have on the question of discussing two ways in which you could deal effectively with anxiety during an examination. So we have got further points that are also correct, that are also listed on the following page. Then on 3.5, it is assess how time management skills could assist you to perform effectively in your grade 12 assessments. So it could enable you to prioritize your deliverables, and this may assist you to meet deadlines or targets for assessment tasks with more ease. Or do proper scheduling or planning of tasks or projects, and this may ensure timely completion of all work-related activities. So we have got further points that we have also that could also correct. So we move on to 3.6, which reads, how would you adapt your reading skills to respond effectively to examination questions? In each answer also indicate how that could improve your ability to gain maximum marks in a question. So you could practice the skill to do reflective reading, in brackets skim and scan, in order to get an overall meaning of the question and all related text. So this is these are the points that we have. Or develop your reading speed also, and read it actively, read strategically, also some of the points that are also correct. So, and read with understanding. So those are the points that we have in this. Marks the end of our section B, and from there we are supposed to move on to our next section, which is section C, which starts on question 4. So on our section C, we are going to start on our question 4. So our question 4 is read the extract below and answer the question that follow. So we're given an extract of the devastation of crisis and disasters that you just need to read through before you attempt to answer what is required according to the question. So beneath that, it is write paragraphs on crisis and disasters. Use the following as a guideline. First part, state 4 benefits for a person who detects a disease early enough. So 4 points are required. In terms of the 4 benefits of a person who detects a disease, we have them here in our other section as we I have the first point is that the chances for someone making a full recovery is better when a disease is detected early, and also unnecessary death or fatalities may be prevented. So that's what we have. And then on the point, treatment could be more effective, and also a person's quality of life may not be affected as severely. So those are the points that we have. We've got a continuation of those points that are also correct that we can also include. Then moving on to the next point that we have according to our question, it says analyze the negative effect of people's personal views about infectious diseases on health and safety of people. So we have our points as it should form their own theories about the diseases or virus. It may influence others to believe those opinions, which may lead to the spread of fake news, and this may cause confusion among people about whether they should comply with safety regulations or not. And also, we have got further information given, which we can also include, which is also correct. And the question only requires 2 points. So, on the next part, it reads evaluate the impact of a crisis such as the global COVID-19 pandemic on the current trends on the job market. So, possible answers could include there has been an extreme downturn in economic activity as a result of this global crisis, which had an even more severe impact on youth employment possibilities. However, the situation has created an opportunity for many young people to become entrepreneurs or to come up with innovative entrepreneurial ideas, which eventually has become long-term or sustainable employment options for many of them. So we have that is the correct point that we can include according to our question. We have got further points that we can include that are also correct here on our question going down to the last point that we have. So this marks at the end of our question 4. And we still have other questions that are also in our section C. Question 5 read the extract below and answer the questions that follow. So you're given an extract of critical analysis of the media. Just you need to go through the extract that you're given. Then beneath that, it reads write paragraphs on limitations and accessibility of information. Use the following as a guideline. So in terms of the first point, it reads state 4 ways in which the media could ensure access of information to all communities with formats. Then analyze how limitations to the right to freedom of expression of the media may assist in promoting public safety with 8 marks. And then critically discuss the impact of the increasing digital divide on different groups in society, specifically the poorer communities with 8 marks. So in terms of the first part of stating 4 ways in which the media could ensure access of information, we have our points as articulated, as we are saying, the media could ensure that all print media or subscription to electronic media is affordable. So this is the first point that we have. Then secondly, accommodate the different language needs of all communities, including Braille. That is the second point. In terms of the third point, it is alliance with the government telecommunication department to help in the provision of infrastructure or towers for broadcasting, and also have increased radio or TV broadcasting by helping to establish more radio or TV broadcasting stations or channels. So we have got further explanations that we have or further points given and are also correct. Then on the second part, we have got to analyze how limitations to the right to freedom of expression of the media may assist in promoting public safety. So we have those points. We have the first point on the page that we are. And then moving on, we've got further points that are also correct that we can also include. So going down, we see that we have got other points that we can also include. So in terms of the next part, it is critically discuss the impact of the increasing digital divide on different groups of society, specifically the poorer communities. So possible answers could be The poorer communities are once again left behind in the constantly changing technological developments, since these communities may not be provided with the advanced technological infrastructure that they may need in order to also have unlimited access to modern information and communication technology. And as a result, this may hamper the social economic development or status in these communities even further. So we have other points also that we can also include in terms of that part as we go down. And this marks at the end of our question 5.